Tragedy strikes when Courtney gets sidetracked by her phone and crashes the car into the road railing, causing it to fall into the river. Courtney is now a medical student making her rounds at the hospital. When Courtney goes to check on a patient who almost died earlier that day, she asks her if she remembers anything from when her heart stopped. This makes the patient ask Courtney if she has lost someone. Ray and Marlo, who are also medical students, are also working at the hospital. While taking care of a patient, they seem to be competing with each other. Courtney goes to the library in the late evening to learn more about the future. She has to stop reading when she hears Sophia Manning, a friend, crying at a table nearby. Courtney chooses to go see how she is doing and finds out that her mom is putting a lot of stress and pressure on Sophia and that medical school is hard. They both leave the library at the same time, and Courtney asks Sophia if she wants to hear about a little side project she is working on. Sophia says maybe. The next day, Courtney, Sophia, Marlo, Ray, and their friend Jamie are in class getting yelled at by their teacher for not answering quickly and well enough. After that, Sophia works at a doctor's event with Jamie, who does not need it because he has a trust fund, but goes anyway to chase after a chef. Sophia sends her mom a message to let her know where she is. She also tells her mom that she moved in with her to keep an eye on her. After doing more rounds in the hospital, Courtney asks Jamie to hang out with her later in the basement, which Jamie takes as a hint. When he agrees, she tells him to take the service lift instead of the regular one because there are no cameras there. Later that night, Courtney asks Sophia and Jamie to meet her in the basement of the hospital, where there is a full-fledged clinic in case of an emergency. Courtney tells them about her project. She has been looking for the part of the brain that causes near-death experiences, so she wants to map the process like they map a seizure. So she wants her friends to stop her heart while she is in the image reader and then bring her back after 1 minute. Sophia does not want to do it, but Jamie says he will do it. He stops Courtney's heart from beating by giving her drugs and using the defibrillator. This kills her. Courtney has an out-of-body experience while Sophia and Jamie watch the scanner and make sure it is recording. She sees everyone in the hospital and on the roof, and then she goes all the way around the city. When the minute is up, Sophia and Jamie try to bring her back to life, but they are not able to. Sophia sends Ray a message asking for help, and when he sees her, he runs out of his office. Marlo gets the message, so she sees him go. Courtney keeps going on her journey. Now, the room she is in explodes, and she ends up on a bridge with lots of bright lights. This dream is over, but when her friends finally get her back with the help of Ray's smart direction, Marlo comes in as Sophia is calling Courtney crazy, and she wants to know what is going on. Moments later, the 5 of them go to Courtney's house, where she describes the event as pure energy. As they watch the scan records together, they see flashes of light in different parts of the brain. Ray decides to leave because he thinks his idea is crazy, and Courtney stays on the balcony for 10 minutes, just looking out at the city. Courtney says she wants to bake when Marlo checks on her. The next morning, Courtney brings all the bread she made to class. Marlo says she remembered her grandmother's recipe and made 6 loaves. She also says Courtney ran 12 miles. When their teacher starts going over the cases, Courtney knows the right answers for all of them as soon as Sophia is done describing them. She even uses rare information she read in a book a couple of years ago. When the 5 of them go to a bar in the evening, Courtney plays the piano for the first time in 12 years. Her friends are amazed at how she can remember everything she has ever learned. They call it rewiring of the brain. Ray still does not like the idea of doing these tests, but Jamie is excited and decides to go next. Courtney thinks she hears a noise in the shower when she gets back to her apartment, so she moves the curtains to check. There is nothing there, so she makes sure the blinds are open and leaves the bathroom. But she comes back when she hears it again. She looks in the tub and sees that one of the curtains has fallen in, which is now full of water, and all of a sudden a face appears in it. This scares her, screaming. She falls to the floor, but when she gets back up and looks around, she sees that the curtains and bathtub are still in the same place they were before. Even though Ray is still not sure, the group goes ahead and helps Jamie flatline. His vision shows him riding a bike on the highway. The ride is exciting and fun, especially when a blonde woman named Alicia appears behind him on the bike. But in the end, they get to a dark neighborhood where Alicia vanishes when she says his name and Jamie's friends bring him back to life. After making sure he is okay, the group goes to Courtney's place to drink and party. When Courtney suggests breaking one of the walls, the group agrees. She and Jamie seem to be on the same vibe. When it starts to hail, they kiss and have a snowball fight in their underwear. Ray still does not want to flatline, but Marlo decides that she will be the next one to try it. Courtney asks Jamie if he saw anything scary, and Jamie says no. The next day at the hospital, Jamie makes a series of choices that save the lives of several patients. Jamie is focused on the present and uses his instincts. Courtney is focused on the past and bringing back old information. After everyone goes back to work, Jamie sees Alicia standing in the middle of the street, but she is gone by the time he is finished talking to a nurse who he thought had asked about an abortion. Sophia tries to leave her apartment later that night, but her mother will not let her. Instead, she makes Sophia stay and study with her. The rest of the group keeps going without her, and this time it is Marlo who falls flat. She even asks to stay out for 3 minutes instead of the usual one. In her dreams, she sees all the things she has done in her life. Then she sees the word murderer and remembers a patient named Cyrus whom she could not save. His body shows up in front of her at the bottom of a creepy pool, but she is brought back to life before she can get close to it. The group takes Marlo to the roof so she can get some air, and there she was surprised when Sophia showed up out of the blue and demanded to go next. Ray does not like it, but the others tell him to shut up because he is already as involved as they are. Courtney and Marlo agree to help Sophia, but she cannot stay too long because the cleaning crew is coming soon. Sophia lies down, and her dreams show her when she was a teenager. Her mother was always putting pressure on her to do well in school, which made Sophia jealous when her friend Irina did better than she did. She ruined Irina's life by breaking into her phone and sending out photos of her naked body. Sophia's adventure is cut short, though, when the building's cleaning crew shows up and her friends have to bring her back. Jamie goes outside and pulls the fire alarm to keep the workers busy while the rest of the group flees in a car. The security guards almost caught them, though. Their fears go away quickly as Marlo drives away from there very fast, and they decide to go to a party where they can dance and drink. Courtney leaves the dance floor when she thinks she sees Tessa in the crowd. She follows the girl to the parking lot, where she starts to have a dream. When she gets closer to look inside, she sees Tessa's body floating in water. Her hand pops up out of nowhere, startling Courtney and bringing her back to the real world. She chooses to leave the party because she is upset. Sophia, on the other hand, feels great after her flatlining experience, so she brings Jamie back to her apartment and makes love to him. Her mother can hear them and tries to get them to stop, but the two will not leave the room until they are done. Sophia's mom tries to scold her for bringing a guy to her apartment after Jamie leaves, but Sophia stands up to her and tells her she is moving out. Marlo and Ray leave the party at the same time. When they get to Marlo's house, she tells him she has something important to say and he should come inside. Marlo tells him over a drink that Cyrus's death was her fault because she made a mistake when she chose his treatment. She also says she was scared when she saw him while she was flatlining. Ray tells her she is a good person and that everything will be okay. He then kisses her and they make love. A few hours later, Courtney goes to the bridge where her sister died and cries her eyes out as she remembers the accident. Jamie goes back to his boathouse and also has a vision. First, he thinks he sees Alicia crying on his bed, and then he hears a baby crying under his furniture. As Alicia comes up to him from behind, he finds a baby blanket behind, but when his phone rings, she leaves. It is Courtney calling to tell him something, her dreams. Jamie tells her to stay home so that he can go check on her. When Courtney walks into her flat, music is coming from the radio. After she turns it off, she makes a video on her phone in which she says she is sorry and admits that the real reason she did the experiments was to see her sister again, not to find out something new about science. Courtney goes into her room to see what is going on when all of a sudden the light comes on and the radio starts playing again. She finds Tessa writing at a desk and looking awful. The ghost starts following Courtney around the apartment, and when she climbs out the window and onto the fire escape, it shows up outside as well. Tessa pushes her over the fence when she tries to get back into the building through a different window. The next day, their teacher tells her friends the news. Marlo thinks they should talk about the visions they are having, but Jamie says that the most important thing is to get rid of all proof of their experiments. If they don't, the school will find out about them when they look into Courtney's death. Jamie says he will break into Courtney's apartment to find anything that could be used against her, and he tells the others to throw away their notes. Sophia tells Ray that they should have listened to him, and Jamie tells him that he can leave, but Ray does not want to. When night comes, Jamie calls Marlo at the hospital where she works. He tells her that he and Ray found Courtney's computer and notes, but not her phone, which should be in the morgue. Since Marlo has access to it, she should go get it. Marlo goes to the morgue and quickly finds the phone by making it ring in the file box. She is about to leave when she sees Courtney's name on a list of bodies. She chooses to get it out and look at it, which upsets her. After putting the body back, Marlo starts to have a vision. She sees the word murderer written on the refrigerator and gets a call from Courtney's phone. When she picks it up, she hears a voice calling her name right before the power goes out. Marlo turns on the flashlight on her phone and sees that all the doors to the unit are open. She is also jumped on by Cyrus's body before the shock brings her back to reality. Jamie is also having problems. His shower runs out of water all of a sudden, and his radio starts playing baby music. He can only stop it by cutting the wires with a knife. Then he hears a voice whisper his name and a woman crying before Alicia appears in front of him. Jamie runs out of the boat when a hand touches his shoulder, but Alicia is waiting for him outside, and he falls into the water when he sees her. He swims to the dock and screams when someone sticks his hand with a stick. The group gets together to watch Courtney's recording. When Marlo hears Courtney talking to Tessa, she realizes that their sins are coming back to haunt them. Jane thinks that everyone should tell the truth, and he starts by talking about Alicia. He slept with her and got her pregnant, but he was willing to pay for the abortion. When the time came, though, he could not do it, so he drove away and left her to take care of herself. Last night, she was the one who stabbed him, but it could not have been her because she is still alive and living somewhere else. Sophia tells Irina what she did to her in high school, but Marlo does not talk about Cyrus at all. They think that someone or something, maybe something evil, is using their grief to hunt them down. Later, during class, Sophia also has a vision. She thinks Irina is sending her rude text messages and sees a video of her sleeping with Jamie on her computer screen. Uneasy, she walks out of the room and into the hallway, where she hears a girl laughing and sees a ghost walking behind her. Sophia gets in the lift and sees that the ceiling is missing, but she cannot get out because the doors are already shut. The elevator starts to go up and stops suddenly in an old, empty classroom. Irina walks in and jolts Sophia back to the real world. Ray goes to Marlo's house to tell her that he found out she changed Cyrus's autopsy report to make it look like he died by accident instead of by mistake. He asks her to tell the dean the truth. Ray tells Marlo that if she does not want to do it, because it will ruin her job, she should not be a doctor. Sophia, meanwhile, asks Jamie to come with her to see Irina. She tells her that she was the one who sent out her pictures. She says she is sorry for what she did, and Irina forgives her. Jamie is moved by this, and he calls Marlo to tell her that he has an idea that might save them. He then goes to see Alicia to apologize, but not before calling Marlo. He finds out she did not have the abortion, and that she has been raising their son by herself, so he says he was a coward, and says that from now on he wants to help. Marlo is at her house late at night, reading about when she starts seeing visions of the future again. She wakes up when she touches Cyrus's body, which is in front of her at the bottom of the dark, empty pool. It is already morning when she gets in her car and drives away, crying. On the way, she has another dream in which someone puts a plastic bag over her head, making it hard for her to breathe and causing her to crash. Ray gets a message from Marlo saying that she needs to stop everything, so he calls Sophia and Jamie to help him look for her. They find her flatlining in a room in the basement of the hospital, so they try to bring her back while she sees things. Marlo ends up in the pool again. This time, she stays by Cyrus's side and apologizes to him, but he wakes up and chokes her. Then Cyrus pushes a cart with her on it into a room that is empty. When Marlo gets off the stretcher, she is pushed around, and then her head is grabbed, and she is put into a tub of water to die. Marlo gets out of the water just as Ray tells her he needs her to come back to him. However, a storm starts to pull her back into the water. Just as Ray finally brings her back to life, Courtney appears in front of her and tells her she needs to forgive herself. A few days later, Marlo realizes Courtney was right and goes to talk to the dean about what she did. The dean puts her on probation for what she did. After that, she and Ray throw Courtney's computer into the river so that the experiment does not happen again. At the end of the show, the characters go to a bar for a drink. They drink a toast to Courtney when they see that the guy at the piano is playing the same song she did. Click this video to enjoy another amazing movie. Don't miss out on its shocking ending.